Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I got a review for you today. We're going to be talking about DC Comics StarGirl, The Lost Children, issue number 2. It is written by Geoff Johns, art by Todd Nauck, colors by Matt Herms, and letters by Rob Leigh. And this is the holiday variant by Crystal Chung. Before we get started, please like, comment, and subscribe on this guy's channel. I love comments. The interaction is why I'm here doing these reviews. Okay, let's get into it. So this issue picks up exactly where we left off with the last issue. Stargirl and Emiko have reached like, I forget what, Arrow Island, and now they're at the Arrow Cave. It's Oliver Queen's like secret base. Emiko being the sister of Oliver Queen. There's even a joke here about the boxing glove, arrows and stuff, and a whole conversation about how Emiko tried to, use the boxing glove arrows and could never figure it out. So Stargirl and Emiko are on a journey, and they are looking for these lost sidekick, the lost children. They, so far in the story, are like the only two or maybe like one other person that remember these lost sidekicks, and that's why they're at Arrow Island. They are following clues, and supposedly there's another clue that's going to lead them, to the next step. But there's also evidence here in the Arrow Cave, as you'll see, this badass spread. This is the first time Stargirl has been to Arrow Cave, so as she enters, she's seeing, like, first off, she makes a comment about how Oliver wanted to be like Batman, but just the immense and how much everything's going on, all these different, and they are statues. At first I thought they were the lost children, and I was like, oh, there they are, they found them. No, these are just just monuments to decades past, and they kind of go through and mention some of the, because they're set up in teams and stuff like that. But this right here, like these 7 soldiers, I think, yeah, 7 soldiers of victory, which Oliver Queen was a part of. But this specifically, Wing, is one of the characters that they're looking for, the sidekicks, and here he is. There's proof that he existed. And that's kind of what they were looking for all over the Arrow Cave. There, because there's the Harley Quinn's son, Ladybug. There's all kind of, different characters that you can see woven into, in between the heroes. They get here, and they're basically looking for like this piece of map that's in Oliver Queen's Arrow Cave. It's so weird to say Arrow. But as they are here, we kind of get like this backstory about Emiko, and it's kind of cool because I'm not familiar with her. I'm familiar with like more along the lines of like the Arrowverse and stuff like that. As far as the Green Arrow is concerned, I've read a little bit in comics when he does pop in and out like Batman. But as far as Emiko, she is brand new. I don't even know her superhero name, and if I did, I already forgot it. I have to imagine it's read something. But I'm just bad with names in general, guy. So right here we get a little bit of her backstory and how her and Oliver have a very similar backstory, but hers was a lot different. No one came looking for her, and she kind of has this resentment towards Oliver because no one came looking for her on that island. Her island was called like Starfish Island, I think. While she was on the Starfish Island, it was kind of the same thing, where she was born and bred to be like the secret assassin with no emotions, and eventually somehow she made it off the island. It doesn't go into detail about that, but we do see some tears coming from Emiko because she's really talking about the Oliver side of the story and how he really doesn't know, how she kind of holds this little bit of guilt for him, as far as like how come he didn't come for her. And Stargirl's like, well, why don't you just tell him? And Emiko's like, well, I can't, because that'll make him feel guilty for the rest of his life, and at that time he didn't even know me. She's bringing up this story because it pertains to all the lost children, since they're the only 2 individuals that I can recollect that remember about these lost sidekicks. She's kind of, like putting the stories together, like, you know, at least they have us two coming for them, like we remember them. But in my case, no one came for me. I had to kind of, you know, do it myself, kind of thing. They basically show they have found the piece of map. They, you know, find the boat. They get on. Basically, from there, they start talking about, well, what's next and what. This guy Daniel Dunbar, I'm drawing a blank on who he was in the story, but he had a lot of. I think he was like one of the. He was. It was the first story. He was one of the sidekicks that was like investigating this. But after what he found during his clues, he had, you know, triangled it down to this triangle in the ocean. And there's all these islands, specifically Diablo Island and Starfish Island. It's called the Diablo Triangle. And he says he was looking for a missing island that was within that set, you know, that triangle. And that's where he believed the lost kids are, and so that's where they're heading out. They kind of spend a lot of this time like researching and going back and forth about the lost kids, stuff like that. But they're pretty much heading out to where the lost island is supposed to be. As soon as they get there, they, like, StarGirl has this image, like, and basically it's this guy saying, "You're too close." It's one of the sidekicks, the missing sidekicks, and he's basically saying, "You're too close," and he kind of mentions the childminder has the kids, that he's trapped, and then right after that, an explosion goes off with the boat, and StarGirl, Cosmo, her staff, and Emiko, are basically, you know, fighting for their lives in the water. Stargirl mentions that briefly in the water, that she mentioned why they were there in general. But before she was, you know, saved by Emiko, she kind of remembered that they were still looking for the lost children, but there was something in the water. When they get back up, and she starts looking for Cosmo, she finds Cosmo, and he's kind of like, his powers turned off at the moment or something like that. And she could tell something's wrong with him. They make it to a beach, and they, lo and behold, it's this mysterious beach that wasn't there before. They have successfully found the island with the missing kids. They get to the island, and Courtney Whitmore, StarGirl, she makes to the beach, and she kind of touches the sand, and she starts mentioning to Emiko that the sand didn't feel right. On closer inspection, she says it reminds her of this stuff called Miraclo. Miraclo is the stuff in Hourman's his hourglass, and that's what gives him his immense strength. And Courtney starts saying that, you know, the whole beach is filled with this stuff. You know, what could this be doing? Kind of thing. In the background, we see that, and I have to imagine this is Childminder, but Childminders are activating the defenses for the island in the shape of some eggs. He's pressing like I don't know. But some egg robot things do appear. There's a whole lot of, like, you fighting with Courtney and Emiko, trying to, you know, basically survive at this point. At one point, you can see that Emiko does get captured, and these things start screaming nesting in process. And eventually, one of them does capture Emiko, and it just says nested complete, and then it runs off. Courtney does try to save Emiko. But like I mentioned before, something happened to Cosmo in the water. We don't really know yet, but there is moments where, like, Courtney's like, "Dang it, fire!" and then by the time he does fire, she's already getting attacked by the egg things. She does actually, like, they're just robots, but she does actually kill, like, a couple with Cosmo, but there are a couple misfires as well. He's not firing at all levels. But eventually Courtney Whitmore, she gets captured herself, and, like, eventually something ends up saving her. She turns around saying, like, you know, Emiko, because all that is shown is like this pink kind of blast, and she just figures that it was Emiko that saved her. When she turns around to see who it was, we see that it is none other than some of the missing sidekicks, specifically Wing, Cherry Bomb, and I don't know who his name is. But these are so. Oh, and there's the dog too, because the dog talks. It's a robot dog. I don't know his name either. But they kind of spin the story that Courtney has been kidnapped, and they're there to save her. And Wing knows a way to escape off the island. The dog mentions that he has said this over 1,000,000 times, and he does not know how to get off the island. They are stuck. And that's kind of where they leave us off. Like, it looks like there's, some mind, mess aroundery going on. I don't know. But that is the end of the first issue. You do get this Happy Holidays from DC at the end, this cool little Harley Quinn pinup and stuff. And you also get this weird Snyderverse. Hey, so we got some toys and statues coming out. I don't think the publication got the message about the whole Snyderverse thing, a couple weeks ago. But this issue, it was fantastic. Todd Nauck is new to me, but I'm loving his art. I'm not going to say there was a whole lot that happened in this issue, but still, just the way it flowed, it read well. The panels, there were some amazing panels, like that one right there with Courtney looking out on the boat. No, but overall, I'm still loving this comic. I love the mystery that it has presented itself. I'm really all in on this book. It has been extremely well delivered on all points. The art, the story, everything. But that is my review on StarGirl, The Lost Children, issue number 2. Let me know down below if you're reading this. What do you think about it? If you're not reading it, what do you think about the story that's coming from me, about the comic? But hey, that's all I got for you. I might have a couple more reviews coming. It is Christmas Eve, and the night is coming. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Whatever holiday you do celebrate, I hope it is with family, friends, loved ones, enemies, anybody you can, just make sure you're not alone. And if you are alone, reach out. There are some other people that are alone. Maybe y'all could chill together, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's all I got for him. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I will see y'all in a little bit. Bye.